بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحقيقة أهلا بكم أحبتي وفي درس جديد وفي درس جديد جدا ومحاضرة جديدة جدا متعلقة بفيزياء المواد وبأسس المواد التي يدرسها الصف الأول في هندسة المواد بالأخص. نتحدث اليوم في المحاضرة أو الدرس الحالي نتحدث اليوم عن الفيزياء الصلبة، عن فيزياء الصوالب أو المواد الصلبة والتخطيطات الذرية والترتيبات الجزيئية والحسبان الرياضي أو الحساب الرياضي للكثير من المعاملات المهمة التي يمكن إدخالها بطريقة أو تجريبية أو بطريقة نظرية خلال الدروس أو المحاضرات التي تعنى بالموضوع. بإعطاء فكرة مهمة وفكرة جوهرية عن فيزياء المواد الصلبة وكذلك التي تتعلق بالمعاملات الحرارية وكذلك الكربنة والنتردة وأنواع وكذلك أنواع الشبائك وأنواع
يعني يوم عودة ما تقويهم أنواع مثل والله حاشا عليه سبلت
وكيفية كذلك حساب المعاملات وكذلك حساب المعاملات للشبائك وحساب كيفية ترتيب الشبائك خلال الذرة والنظريات الجزيئية الكلاسيكية التي تعنى كثيرا ما تعنى بالأسلوب الذري المنتظم خلال البلورات. Once again, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and very bright new topic that mostly associated to the solid state physics that the first year, the first stage of the engineering faculty of engineering in University used to deal with, which is mostly related to the fundamentals of engineering materials. The fundamentals of engineering materials are very much a very curriculum handout, and text. Used to dealt with or have been dealt with or has been dealt with by the first stagers of the Faculty of Engineering at Muslim University, as you can see right here in front of you. The solid state physics is pretty much a very important topic or a very essential topic to deal with here. Very much to mention that better for us to say that the solid state physics is actually an important, essential visualization for the entire system lattices and the entire system atomic and molecular assortment and molecular coexistence within or even at the same solid materials or at the same system or molecular array that we're actually used to deal with, such as the crystalline forming or even crystalline formed as well as the unit crystalline formed and the polycrystalline formed، يعني البلورات الأحادية والبلورات المتعددة التبلور أو الأجسام الأحادية أو الأجسام متعددة التبلور في الأجسام المعدنية، such as in metallic objects in different liquids or even different phases or variety of phases, such as the plasma as well as the liquid phase and the solid phase and the aerosol phase or the gas phase. And as you can see right here in front of you, we're just going to have to insert the solid state physics right to many of the practical applications or even the many of the practical and advanced applications that are actually pretty much associated to the lattice insertion or even pretty much associated to the lattice or even the application that actually pretty much deal with the atomic consistency or even deal with the atomic level in the field of in the domain of industry as well as in the domain of the microelectronics and nanoelectronics and the domain of the advanced applications such as industry of automobiles and industry of electronics, or industry of the micro, very accurate lenses, or even as well as the manufacturing and the fabrication of the LCD, liquid crystal displays, and the or liquid crystal displays screens, or even the LEDs, light emitting diodes, in case of being music, or even or the solid state physics techniques and strategies in case they are used into the or inserted into the industry of semiconductors and the silicon chips, as well as in the solar cells, and everything that actually pretty much related or even associated, somehow correlated to the some way, in any way correlated or associated to the manner or even the pattern as which the special or even particular application that actually are going with. Today we can display, or even we can demonstrate, or even better for system, we can exhibit or display a visualizations, an optimal visualization for the theoretical segment, even for theoretical branch, as well as the practical and scientific branch, and the empirical branch that actually pretty much associated, or even pretty much trying to clarify the solid state physics strategies and the logistic patterns to deal with the materials or even the crystals that are either manufactured by using the solid state physics techniques, or even manufactured by using a special industrial or particular industrial synthesis or method. So today we're going to search the entire topics as you can see right in front of you. Sit down. We're going to search about, we're going to walk through the entire topics, or even the entire subjective manners that we actually use to, or even we already stated, or we already stipulated that we're actually about to go through, we're actually about to go right through, as you can see right in front of you. Here we're just going to have to visualize, or even trying to deal with the crystal case, or the crystal condition of the entire engineering material we actually used to deal with ever since they've been invented, or even ever since they're being discovered. First, the introduction here, the introduction to the crystal conditions, or the crystalline conditions of the materials, or the introduction to the crystallinity coexistence of the crystallinity subject for the materials that actually pretty much to be visualized by using the crystalline theory, or by using crystallinity, or by using the crystalline theory, as you can see right in front of you. The crystal structure, the crystal lattice, crystal structure are listed, or structure manners are listed as follows, as you can see right in front of you. يعني التركيب البلوري مقسم إلى الأجزاء التي ترونها أمامكم. الشبيكة البلورية كريستال لاتس. 2 خلية الوحدة يونت سيل. 3 النظم البلورية والشبيكات برافيه crystal systems and برافيه lattices. الرص المتلاصق closed packing and Miller indices وإحداثيات أو معاملات ميلر. 3 article 3 here pretty much associated, or the article 3 search into the crystalline components, or the crystalline compositions, such as the crystalline symmetry and the crystalline tacticity, or even the crystalline crystalline binding, and the as you can see right in front of you, the crystal growth and the crystalline structure. So the crystalline symmetry is actually divided into 2 segments here, as you can see right in front of you, or even not divided, or even searched about 2 main strategies as illustrated, or as been stated right in front of you, as you can see right now. التماثل البلوري يبحث في موضوعين مهمين, very so the crystalline symmetry or the crystalline acariality is actually pretty much أو اليدوانية البلورية, اللا يدوانية البلورية كما ترون, acariality يعني التماثل, السيمتري أو التناظر, يبحث في موضوعين مهمين. Search about two essential topics. Search about two essential topics mainly associated to the dot or the point symmetry procedures and the point crystalline groups. Point crystalline groups. Fifth, the crystalline binding. الترابط البلوري. Crystalline binding. سادسا انماء البلورات. Crystals growth. Crystals growth. سابعا تعيين التركيب البلوري. Assigning crystal structure. Assigning crystal compositions. So assigning crystal compositions is actually pretty much concerned about the three main and basic topics to be delivered, or even three main basic topics to be visualized, which are as follows, or which are listed as follows. يعني تعيين التركيب البلوري يعنى بثلاثة مواضيع مهمة مدرجة كالآتي. أولا قانون براغ. Bragg's law. First, Bragg's law. Two, the practical method for assigning crystal structure. Practical method to determine the crystal structure. يعني الطرق العملية لتعيين أو الطرق العملية لتحديد التركيب البلوري. Electrons and neutrons diffraction. ثلاثة، حيود الإلكترونات والنيوترونات كما ترون أمامكم. The metallic alloys. 11. The 11 article أو الفقرة 11. الفقرة المصنفة 11 or the categorized article 11 or the 11th categorized article, as you can see right in front of you, is pretty much concerns or even pretty much trying to visualize or attempt. The article 11 is actually attempting to visualize or trying to visualize the metallic alloys. يعني الفقرة 11 المصنفة يمكن أن أو الفقرة 11 class article 11 is actually trying to attempt to visualize, is actually trying to visualize metallic alloys. يمكن أن توضح أو تصور لا ليس تصور حشتصور توضح السبائك الفلزية وكل الأمور أو كل الطرق المتوفرة لتحليل السبائك الفلزية. And every such available methods, or every such optimal methods, or even optimal strategy, just to resolve the metallic alloys, or even to clarify the entire techniques used in the metallic alloys. يعني لتوضيح الطرق أو التقنيات المتبعة لتحليل السبائك الفلزية for the metallic alloys, or the entire to clarify and visualize entire techniques that actually pretty much used, or strategical techniques pretty much used in the resolution of the metallic alloys, and are listed or concerned pretty much about the two main topics here, which are mainly main topics here are mainly and basically listed as follows. يعني مدرجة كالآتي: واحد المحاليل الصلبة solid solutions. اثنان محاينات الطور الاتزان phase diagrams, the equilibrium thermal equilibrium phase diagrams. The 12th article, which is pretty much important and essential just to refer to, يعني الفقرة 12 هي فقرة مهمة جدا اللي يجدر الإشارة إليها، هي نظرية الانتشار في الجوامد أو نظرية الانتشار في المواد الصلبة. Diffusion theory in solid materials. Diffusion theory in solid materials, or diffusion theory in solids. Pretty much correlated, or even very much trying to visualize the all fifth article, as you can see right here in front of you, listed as follows. يعني توضيح يعني أو تتحدث pretty much associated, or even trying to pretty much discuss the fifth article, or even the 5 articles listed as follows, as you can see right in front of you. مدرجة كما ترون أمامكم. تتحدث عن الفقرة الأولى قانون فيك الأول، Fick's first law. 2 قانون فيك الثاني، Fick's second law. 3 آلية الانتشار الذري، Atomic diffusion mechanism. 4 الحيود عن قانون فيك، Deviation of Fick's law, or consistency of Fick's law. هنا ليس الحيود وإنما الثبات في قانون فيك، consistency of Fick's law، يعني الثبات في قانون فيك. تأثير Kerr-Kendall's effect. Here is actually very much topic here, or even very much classified topic here today to discuss, or even to visualize, which are mainly associated to the lattice dynamics and the thermal properties. يعني موضوع جدا الإشارة إليه وموضوع مهم جدا يجب بحثه or better for us to say is going to be like search right through. يعني يجب البحث فيه ألا وهو ديناميكا الشبكة lattice dynamics والخواص الحرارية thermal properties. 13. The 13th article is the introduction, and the 14th article is actually the homogeneous or the straight atomic line. The article 15 is actually the article 15 is actually pretty much related to the monoatomic unidimensional lattice and biatomic unidimensional lattice. يعني شبكة أحادية الذرات في بعد واحد أو شبكة ثنائية الذرات أحادية البعد. Unidimensional biatomic lattice. The phonons. Article 17, as you can see right in front of you. Article 17 is search right through the phonons. And the article 18 is searching right through the heat capacity of the solids. يعني السعة الحرارية للجوامد. والفقرة 19 نموذج أينشتاين للسعة الحرارية. Einstein model for the heat capacity or heat capacity Einstein models is searched or even visualized by the article 19, and Debye heat capacity model searched or visualized or even clarified by the article 20. يعني موضح بالحلقة أو موضح بالفقرة 19 نموذج أينشتاين للسعة الحرارية، وكذلك موضح بالفقرة 20 نموذج ديباي للسعة الحرارية. في الفقرة 21 توضيح مهم in the article 21 or 21st article is actually very much important and essential or even pretty much clarification of maximum essentiality about the heat thermal conduction of insulators. The thermal conductions is actually searching of way two more important particles, or even way two essential particles or articles, as you can see, or categories, as you can see right in front of you. First is actually related to phonon reactions, phonon interactions. يعني وين تفاعلات فونون مع فونون. ثانيا التشتت بعيوب البلورية، التشتت عند حواف العينة dispersion at the spaceman's ledges. The thermal expansion coefficient of solids, as you can see right in front of you, searched or even visualized or clarified by the article 22nd. Got it. Good. The crystal case of or the crystal conditions of solids. يعني حالة بلورية للجوامد. مقدمة. The matter is usually formed in its three known cases: the aerosol and the liquid and solid. Atoms or molecules are very predominantly moving, atoms and molecules in motion, and the coexistence of material is due to in the cases is actually a big deal of the cases actually due to the nature and the mutual exchange effects, boundaries between the interatomic particles and as well as the molecules. We can distinguish each case of the other physically by looking to the particularity of flow or even the flux, where the material is aerosolely or even liquidly existed. It will be very much flowable or flexible, as well as formable to the shape of the vessel which they are placed at. Whereas the aerosol material or the gas mass will or liquid mass will actually have the ability to flow when will be converted or when converted to the solid case after solidification or after cooling, and will be in a very constant figure and very constant shape and size at the same time. Okay. Good. It can categorize these solids into two major types: the crystalline solids and the amorphous solids. The crystalline solids, as you can see right in front of you. The crystalline solids, where the atoms arrangements are tactics in space, forming a periodic geometrical or even periodic engineering pattern. Well, the pattern is actually diffused or it propagates to occupy the entire material or the entire mass vacants. So this means that we have only a single crystal. but the proportionality of periodicity of the engineering pattern then will be called or even denoted as boundaries or the grain frontiers, granular frontiers عندما يسمى بدخون. أما إذا استمر أطراد دورية أطراد يعني proportionality أطراد دورية النمط الهندسي the periodicity of the engineering pattern then it will be denoted as or the engineering form or the engineering form will be denoted as pattern والله will be denoted as boundaries or even the granular frontiers or the granular frontier region يعني المنطقة الحدودية الحبيبية. The material then will be polycrystallines يعني البلورة تكون وحيدة فقط إذا يوجد نمط هندسي دوري. أما إذا تعدد النمط الهندسي الدوري فسوف ليشغل حبيبات but in case of the periodic engineering pattern but in the case of multiplicity of the engineering periodic pattern so we're just going to have to gain or even we're just going to have to acquire a very polycrystalline materials with grain frontiers or even grain boundaries as illustrated here in the paragraph. يعني كما موضح هنا في literature as illustrated here in the literature survey يعني كما موضح في هنا في الطريقة الاستقرائية. So the material then will be formed from a polycrystallines or polycrystalline patterns or polycrystalline manners to go with. Thus means or EG means very groups of granules or the single crystals in different or variety of orientations. B, the amorphous solids, and comprises the entire solids that at which or in which their atoms or molecules are distributed, as you can see right in front of you. Well, they will when the material or the liquid material will at conversion from the fluid case, the aerosols, or even the liquid phase into the solid phase. The amorphous solids will be noted also as the amorphous or the non-conformal or the conformal or the amorphous materials, which means it will be which means they are mainly and basically very much or specially tacticized as described or as denoted they are pretty much vitreous يعني كأنها توصف زجاجية يعني المواد البلورية الأمورفس glassy just because they are pretty much similar or even they are hugely and extremely similar to glass in the randomity or even in the arbitrarily or better to say like in the randomity of the atomic assortment illustrated in figure 1 as you can see right in front of you. نتشابه مع الزجاج في يعني كما تدرون الترتيب الذري تشابه مع الزجاج just because they are pretty much or hugely and extremely similar to glass in atomic arrangements in case of atomic arrangements or in the site of atomic arrangements. You can check the figure 1.1 illustrated. Figure 1.1 is actually partitioned into two figures or into two forms. The crystalline materials at which the atoms are pretty much or uniformly or tactically assorted or even arranged and managed, as well as in the amorphous materials in the figure B or in the segment B, as you can see right in front of you, the atoms are randomly or not randomly or tactically assorted or even arranged, as you can see right here in front of you in figure B. This is the crystalline material, and this is the crystalline solids, and this is the segment here, segment A for the crystalline solids, and this segment B for the amorphous solids. هنا الشكل أليف للشكل واحد للشكل واحد يوضح المواد البلورية أو البلورات الصلبة، وهنا الشكل باء للشكل واحد يوضح البلورات الأمورفس كما ترون. Here's actually a disambiguation for the figure, or even a representation, or even better for us to say, like illustration for the figure, as the atoms are arranged in the crystalline manners indicated in the segment B of the figure 1.1, and arranged into a particular manner as illustrated in the segment B of the figure 1.1, indicating the amorphosity or even indicating the crystallinity of the solids. There are actually solid materials that actually doesn't even belong completely for any of the mentioned types or the mentioned sorts, where there actually lies in a very contradicted degrees or very variety of degrees just in between the both cases. The full crystallines and the amorphous, and can describe the molecular arrangement. We can describe the molecular arrangement of the atoms of the materials indicated, or of the materials we just talked about in the denotations of the crystal degree or degree of crystallinity. And the entire tactic arrangement is actually extends in the semi or in the quasi crystalline solids into a very long distances. So it will be described as you can see right in front of you, or either as compared to the or either can be described as a long range order. In case it's compared to the uniformity, or even is compared to the tacticity of the atomic arrangement or the atomic assortment, characterizing or even featurizing the crystalline materials, or even featurizing the crystalline solids. يعني الترتيب المنتظم في البلورات للترتيب المنظم للذرات أو جزيئات في البلورات يوصف بأنه ذات ترتيب مدى طويل، بالمقارنة مع ترتيب البلورات أو ترتيب الذرات في المواد الأمorphous كما ترون أمامكم. Actually, there are solids or solid materials that doesn't even belong, that completely irrelevant for any of the mentioned sorts, where there lies in a different or even there lies in a very way too different cases, or way too different classes just between the both cases, the full crystallized and the amorphous materials. And we can describe, or even we can denote, the molecular assortment of the atoms with the materials just mentioned here by assigning the denotations of the degree of crystallinity, or even the crystallinity grade, or the crystallinity degree or rank, and the uniform assortment, and the uniform assortment or the tactic assortment will extend in the quasi amorphous solids. In quasi amorphous solids يعني في الجوامد شبه الامorphous او شبه العشوائية الى مسافات كما ترون. quasi يعني شبه، فيوصف بأنه ذو مدى طويل، ومقارنة بالترتيب ذو مدى طويل أو as compared with the long range order, the uniform order, or the uniform order, as you can see right in front of you, the uniform order denoted as a long range order in case of we having, or in case we deal with the crystalline materials or even crystalline solids, as compared to the long range order or long range assortments in the full crystalline solids. Find for estimation that the crystalline state is the natural state or even the natural phase for most of the solids. Regarding the energy of the uniform or the tactic order of atoms will be the distribution energy, or the distribution energy 4. Generally, if the atoms and materials has a chance to have would have the opportunity to arrange themselves as they should be, like suppressing your mobility, or so it could be possible for the materials to be amorphous, or even to be as follows. As a result, for the carbon or the vitreous carbon resulting from the dissolutions at the very high temperatures, or in the very elevated temperatures, and polymers that actually forms of a variety or even an overwhelming amount of coordinated molecules, and in further cases there will be no there will be actually pretty much many of ways for the crystal growth from a high viscous or extreme viscous liquids at when solidify rapidly, or when cooled rapidly, where the supercooling will lead or result in the solidifications of the liquid with the same periodic pattern of its molecular order, or its molecular order. But the materials, only the vitreous materials, can gain the crystallinity or crystallinity completely, or as you can see right here for you, by treating them thermally, often a process of by treating them thermally by a procedure called or denoted as annealing, which is a healing or even a healing of heating. Or heating procedures followed by a uniform different cooling or uniform cooling rate. يعني عملية تسخين يعقبه تبريد بمعدلات منتظمة، أو يعني التخمير أو الأنيلينج أو التلدين كما ترون. شبيكة A باء القاعدة وجيم التركيب البلوري. As you can see right here for you in figure 1-2. Crystalline structure or crystal structures. In the crystal terminologies, many of concepts and terminologies that aid التي تساعد to describe and analyze the internal or even analyze the crystal structure of the mass or even the material. We can display here the fundamental or the foundation definitions for the most important or for the highlighted concepts and the crystalline terminologies. يستخدم في علم البلورات عدد من المفاهيم والمصطلحات التي تساعد على وصف وتحليل التركيب البلوري للمادة. وسنقدم هنا we're going to represent here or we're going to visualize here the basic definitions التعريفات الأساسية لأهم المفاهيم for the highlighted concepts and crystals or and crystalline terminologies لأهم المفاهيم والمصطلحات البلورية. crystal lattice. Crystal lattice. The crystal lattice structure here. Their crystal lattice, the very much associated, or even in crystal lattice, which is the most important topic here to revolve about and to deal with, as well as to visualize. The crystal lattice is actually a sort of mathematical representations for the order pattern of the structural fundamental unit of material, of the crystalline materials, or the crystalline matter, and the representation is of infinitesimal amount of the geometrical points that actually parallelly assorted in the lattice, or even assorted parallelly within, or assorted parallelly to the lattice, and it is pretty much also characterized with symmetry and chirality and the uniform or tactic recurrence, the periodicity of the space. يعني نوع من التمثيل الرياضي لنمط ترتيب الوحدة البنائية الأساسية للمادة البلورية is a sort of mathematical representations for the crystalline fundamental structural unit order pattern, and the representation is of يعني يتم التمثيل بعدد لا نهائي of an infinitesimal amount of engineering points, of geometrical point assorted parallelly to the lattice، يعني المرتبة ترتيبا متوازيا شبيكيا، يتميز بالتماثل featurize of symmetry as well as وكذلك التكرار المنتظم the uniformed or tactic recurrence or frequency التكرار المنتظم الدورية. التكرار المنتظم مسمى الدورية. The uniform or the tactic frequency or the tactic recurrence is actually denoted as periodicity. الدورية في الفراغ in the space. ويتكون التركيب البلوري بإضافة الوحدة البنائية الأساسية. And the crystal structure is actually formed by insertion or introduction of the fundamental structural unit or the matrix أو القاعدة يعني الأرضية المصفوفة for each point of the lattice points. So the logistic relevance will be as follows. فتكون العلاقة المنطقية logistic relevance or logical relationship will be as follows. the stereo lattice or in the solid lattice plus the fundamental units, the bases and the matrix or the matrices equal to crystalline structures. So by the combination between the stereo lattice or even the solid lattice, solid represented lattice, plus by or even the combination between the stereo lattice, just like we indicated, or just like stipulated before or priorly, the combination of the solid lattice and the fundamental units, the matrices, will be resulting into the crystalline structure or crystal structure. Even in the simplest crystal structures, there's actually an atoms for each lattice point, as well as in the crystals of Cu, Au, Ag, as the main or basic structural units, or even the base or the matrix will be in a form of a group in a form of atoms groups, or even a group of atoms. Then it is only condition, or the only condition is for the structural unit to be very much matched. يعني بشرط حينئذ أن تكون الوحدات البنائية، الشرط أن تكون الوحدات البنائية متطابقة، matched or compatible or even identical or even symmetrized، يعني متطابقة متناظرة في تركيبها وترتيبها وتوجيهها. Add their combinations of matched in their combinations or even in their order or assortment or even arrangement وتوجيهها and their coordination or directionality التوجيه. It must also have the same it also must have the same clinism and the direction and the orientation as well. يعني يجب أن يكون لها نفس الميل والاتجاه. بيدك بطل أو بيدك هاي شبهة. The optimal crystal lattice is actually structurized by a fundamental structural unit assorted by or even arranged by a solid crystal lattice structure, three-dimensional solid crystal lattice structure, where this or where the arrangement or even the assortment will look like when it's looked at from a very lattice point with the position vector r dash is the same when it's looked at from a whole different r dash point according to the equation stated here. يعني تتركب البلورية المثالية من وحدات بنائية أساسية مرتبة على شكل بلورية فراغية على شبكة بلورية مرتبة بشكل شبكة بلورية فراغية، يعني solid crystal lattice ثلاثية الأبعاد، بحيث يبدو الترتيب عند النظر إليه من نقطة شبيكية ذات متجه موضع r dash r arrow r سهم، where the assortment sounds when it is looked at from a lattice point of position vector r dash is as the same as when it is looked at، يعني ونفسه عند النظر إليه from a whole different lattice point من نقطة شبيكية أخرى r dash طبقا للمعادلة according to the equation stated، للمعادلة الموضحة في الشكل 1 in the figure 1 r dash the position vector r dash أو متجه الوضع r dash equals to r dash plus t dash, and the transitional vector t dash is defined, or the transitional vector t dash that connects between any 2 points in the crystal lattice structure system is denoted by the equation. يعني ويعرف المتجه الانتقالي t dash الذي يصل بين أي نقطتين في الشبيكة بالمعادلة t dash equal to n1a plus n2b plus n3c where حيث حيث A, B, C, where A, B, C called the fundamental or the principal transitional vectors. The principal transitional vectors تسمى المتجهات الانتقالية الأساسية، وهي محددة وثابتة في أي شبيكة بلورية. Which are pretty much definite and constant in any crystal lattice structure system. في أي شبيكة بلورية. And the N1, N2, N3 are integer selective digits, pretty much lattice point position dependent. Pretty much lattice point position dependent. Good. Unit cell الخلية الوحدية الأولية The crystal lattice concept is of maximum advantage aggressively or even extremely of studying the different potentials of the atomic arrangement or the atomic uniformity to the crystals according to the rules or regulations of the crystal geometry, and may be very appropriate most of times for simplifications as well as for the disambiguative examples to be closer to comprehension and closer to understanding in case of dealing with a unidimensional or case of dealing with a or bi-dimensional lattice case or even tri-dimensional lattice case. Then the generalization will be easily taken place for a solid crystalline lattice, three-dimensional solid crystalline lattice representation. Let's take now a segment or even a segment of a crystalline lattice in 2 dimensions as illustrated in figure 1.3. It's clear or it's obvious يتضح من الرسم from the graph that the lattice points A, B, C, D إن نقاط الشبكة A, B, C, D تكون رؤوس متوازي الأضلاع are the vertices or even are the vertices of the parallelogram A, B, C, D parallelogram متوازي الأضلاع result in the repeated transitions or it results in the repeated transition by using the both A dash B dash vectors to form the total or the overall model or mod of the crystalline lattice and denoted as the unit cell. يعني تكون رؤوس متوازي الأضلاع ABCD الذي يؤدي انتقاله المتكرر at which his frequented transition by using the both A dash B dash vectors يعني انتقاله المتكرر باستخدام أو باستعمال المتجهين A dash و B dash to the formation إلى تكوين النموذج الكلي the overall model or the overall typical model النموذج الكلي الأمثل أو الأصح for the crystalline structure للشبكة البلورية ويطلق عليه and it is termed or even it's denoted as unit cell خلية الوحدة. حرام. A segment of a crystalline lattice in 2 dimensions يعني شبكة بلورية في بعدين. The directional vector المتجه الانتقالي أو المتجه كما ترون T dash equal to 5A plus B. Yokes يعني يربط between any lattice point in the unit cell ABCHD or ABCD and the equivalent point in a further cell والنقطة المكافئة في خلية أخرى أو في خلية مجاورة and the equivalent point and its equivalent point in an adjacent cell في خلية مجاورة A dash B dash C dash D dash. In case of the real crystals or real graphically represented crystals with a solid lattice 3 dimensions, the unit cell will be defined by the fabric or even will be defined by the solid polyhedral بمتوازي السطوح unit cell is defined or even the unit cell is defined actually or even the unit cell defines the solid parallel piped متوازي السطوح المجسم of 3 orthogonal axes ABC يعني ذي المحاور الثلاثة ABC and the opposite angles as well as alpha beta gamma والخلايا أو الزوايا المقابلة alpha beta وغاما as illustrated كما هو موضح في الشكل 1.4 as illustrated in figure 1.4 or 4.1 as illustrated in figure 4.1 and it is possibly to categorize ومن الممكن تصنيف البلورات على أساس الأشكال المحتملة. It is possible to categorize the crystals on the basis of the potential forms or even the potential figures of the unit cell هي خلية الوحدة وعناصر تماثلها and their symmetry elements or if their symmetry figures that satisfies التي تحقق شروط الشبكة البلورية that satisfies pretty much the conditions of the crystal structure. النظم البلورية وشبكات برافيه crystal systems and Braffet lattices. They are named due to the French crystallinicist Braffet، يعني ينسب إلى عالم البلورات الفرنسي برافيه تصنيف الشبكات البلورية إلى 14 شبكة. To classify the crystal structures or even the crystal lattice to a 14 lattice distributed to a 7 crystal systems، موزعة إلى 7 أنظمة بلورية. يوضحها الجدول 1-1 clarified and disambiguated by the table 1-1 and the figure 1-5. يوضحها الجدول 1-1 والشكل 1-5. And the amount of Braffet lattices, or the amount of the 14th Braffet lattices, as well as the 7th crystal systems, are even possibly methodalized. يعني هناك عدة طرق ممكنة لترتيب النقاط الشبيكة فيها. For the methodalized or possibly methodalized for we can possibly methodolize the arrangement or even the assortment of the crystal points in the way that the surrounding ambient بحيث تكون البيئة المحيطة بأي نقطة منها at any point pretty much compatible متماثلة تماما أو مماثلة تماما للبيئة المحيطة للنقاط المجاورة for the surrounding ambient of the adjacent points. And the Braffet lattice وتكون شبكة برافي بسيطة very simple إذا كانت نقاطها عند الأركان فقط. If their points are only cornerized. If their points are only cornerized يعني إذا كانت نقاطها عند الأركان. ويرمز لها بالحرف B and it is very much denoted by the P prefix or the P letter البادئ B أو الحرف B. حرف B بالإنجليزية. In case they are comprising a further points يعني عندما تشتمل على نقاط إضافية في مواضع خاصة in particular locations they will be phased centered. They will be phased centered يعني تكون ممركزة الأوجه أو ممركزة الجسم body centered I. Face centered denoted as F letter or even body centered denoted as I or even base centered أو متمركزة القاعدة C. As you can see right here for you a very much particular table to represent or even pretty much particular representation for the Braffet lattices as well as the unit cell characteristics for the entire crystal system, for the entire 14th or the 7 crystal systems distributed for or in the favor of the 14 crystal lattice structure. As you can see right here for you the tabular representation أو التمثيل الجدولي tabular representations for the crystal systems and the Braffet 14 lattices as well as the unit cell characteristics for each crystal systems as well as for each crystal system and for each correspondent Braffet lattice. يعني وخصائص خلية الوحدة لكل نظام بلوري وشبيكة برافية أو لكل شبيكة برافية and the characteristics of unit cell for each Braffet lattices and for the correspondent crystal systems. وخصائص خلية الوحدة لكل شبيكة برافية والنظام البلوري المناظر. Triclinic ثلاثي الميل. The correspondent Braffet lattice is P. يعني شبيكة برافية المناظرة لثلاثي الميل هي P. خصائص خلية الوحدة the unit cell characteristics A B C. Monoclinic أحادي الميل. The Braffet correspondent or the Braffet correspondent lattice parameters are P C يعني معاملات شبكات برافية مناظرة P C. A B C. The characteristics of unit cell as you can see right in front of you. So here are the crystal systems. Triclinic, represented by B. The A does not equal B and does not equal C at the same time. The triclinic has the coefficients or even has the coefficient as follows or has the coefficient valued as follows. يعني نظام ثلاث الميل له القيم أو له المعاملات ذات القيم الآتية. الفا لا يساوي بيتا ولا يساوي كما ترون لا يساوي 90 درجة. monoclinic Bravais lattices for is P and C، يعني أحد الميل وشبكات برافيه له هو P و C. A لا يساوي B لا يساوي C. monoclinic الألفا لا يساوي 90 ولا يساوي بيتا. ألفا يساوي جاما ويساوي 90 لكن لا يساوي بيتا في المونوكلينيك، إذن يختلف عن ترايكلينيك. أورثوهومبيك مستطيلي متعامد أو معين أو مستطيلي متعامد المحاور. وذا برافيه lattices are as follows، يعني مع شبكات برافيه كالآتي B C I F. A فيه A لا يساوي B ولا يساوي C. الأورثوهومبيك ألفا يساوي جاما ويساوي 90 ويساوي بيتا، فرق عن كما ترون. So here we have the crystal, or even we have the lattice system of tetragonal أو النظام الرباعي المربعي له شبكات برافيه PI has the Bravais lattices or corresponding Bravais lattices are as follows، يعني شبكات برافيه المناظرة corresponding يعني المناظرة PI P and I. فيه A يساوي B لكن لا يساوي C. A is equal B but not equal as you can see A equal B كلا هنا A لا تساوي B ولكن تساوي C. A لا تساوي B ولكن تساوي C بالعكس. Now as you can see right here in front of you, the tetragonal has the coefficient valued as follows, or even has the valued coefficients, or even the valued lattice parameters listed as follows: equal alpha equal beta and equal gamma and equal 90 or equal. They're all equal. They're entirely, completely equal to each other. Their intelligence equal, as you can see, including or even the gamma are equal to 90. Cubic system PIF has a lattice parameter, or the Bravais lattices correspondent for is the PIF، يعني نظام مكعبي مع شبكات برافيه مناظرة PI و F. A يساوي B ويساوي C، ومعاملات القيم أو قيم المعاملات ألفا يساوي بيتا ويساوي جاما ويساوي 90. ثلاثي التماثل trigonal أو trisymmetric ثلاثي التماثل P. This is the only Bravais lattice is actually it used to be corresponded for, and P the only Bravais lattice corresponded for، يعني قيم شبكات برافيه المناظرة P أو معاملات شبكات برافيه المناظرة P. A يساوي B ويساوي C. So the valued parameters are as follows، يعني القيم المعاملات هي كالتالي: ألفا يساوي بيتا ويساوي جاما كما ترون 120. في النظام في النظام السداسي كما ترون السداسي hexagonal، the P as you can see right here in front of you, the P A equal to B equal to C and equal to 90. Here to the trigonal system. Alright, the parameters valued are as follows, or the parameters are valued as follows: alpha equal to beta equal to 90 and gamma equal to 120. الفا تساوي بيتا وتساوي 90 لكن الجاما تساوي 120 درجة. معاملات الشبكة. This, as you can see right here in front of you, this is a definite and this is a tribasal or even simple tetragonal. This is a simple tetragonal where the A equal to B and equal to C, alpha equal to beta equal to gamma and equal to 90, as you can see right in front of you. This is the body centered cubic and this is simple cubic primitive seal. يعني الخلية الأساسية. Simple cubic and the body centered cubic يعني المكعب متمركز الجسم، وفيس centered cubic المكعب المتمركز الأوجه. بالنسبة للتتراغونال، بالنسبة للنظام رباعي القاعدة A يساوي B A لا يساوي B يساوي C. A يساوي بيتا ويساوي جاما ويساوي 90 كما ترون. Simple tetragonal and the body centered tetragonal. Every figure is actually pretty much corresponded, or every figure pretty much corresponded to a Bravais or even the unit cell systems as well as the lattice parameters. يعني كل نظام مكعبي الآن للخلايا المكعبية مرافق أو conjugated أو مترافق أو مناظر لقيم الشبيكة، وكذلك مناظر لقيم معاملات الشبيكة، وكذلك مناظر للنظم السبعة كما ترى قيم معاملة الشبيكة ال14 المهمة جدا. here's the right. Simple orthorhombic and base center orthorhombic يعني متعامد المحاور متمركز الجسم. body base centered cubic. orthorhombic base centered orthorhombic يعني مكعب أو خلية مكعبة أساسية أو متعامدة المحاور متمركزة القواعد. body centered orthorhombic يعني خلية مكعبة متعامدة المحاور متمركزة الجسم. face centered orthorhombic يعني خلية مكعبة متراصة متعامدة المحاور ومتمركزة الأوجه. simple monoclinic أو أحادي الميل monoclinic. base centered monoclinic يعني مكعب نظام مكعبي أحادي الميل متمركز القاعدة. وترايكلينيك ثلاثي الميل. كذلك ترايجونال ثلاثي تماثل أو ترايسيمتريك. والهكساجونال كما ترون. ولكل نظام أمامه for each system has its own correspondent or for each system has its own correspondent lattice parameters as well as the listed system or the system denoting or denoting systems. يعني لكل نظام مكعبي سواء الترايكلينيك أو ثلاثي الميل أحادي الميل ثلاثي التماثل أساسي متعامد المحاور. لكل نظام له كما قلنا كما أسلفنا just like we stipulated just like we stated before priorly just like we do priorly state for يعني كما أشرنا من قبل لكل نظام مكعبي له معاملات شبيكة معينة وكذلك معاملات شبيكة معينة بقيم. each lattice system has its own valued lattice parameters as well as the correspondent lattice systems. والأنظمة الشبكية الأنظمة الشبكية المناظرة. for size على سبيل المثال in case of the cubic crystal systems there's actually three solid lattices are the simple cubic lattice as well as the body centered cubic lattice and the face centered cubic lattice F. And the table is actually disambiguates, or the table illustrates, table 1 to illustrates the highlight characteristics for the three lattices. يعني الجدول 1 2 يوضح أو كما ترون خواص الخلايا الثلاثة، الخلايا الشبكية الثلاثة. مكعب بسيط simple cubic، مكعب متمركز الجسم body centered cubic، مكعب متمركز الأوجه face centered cubic. The particularity or the characteristic الخاصية. حجم خلية الوحدة unit cell size lateral length A يعني طول الضلع A. بالمكعب البسيط طول الضلع A cubic in the SC. In the BCC the lateral length is A cubic as well as in the FCC lateral length is A cubic. عدد نقطة الشبيكة لكل خلية وحدة amount of lattices point for each unit cell